fuzzy. Is it the lighting? Let me try. Hello? Is it this side? Nope, it's this side. It's that. Oh, the lighting got a little crazy in here today. It was perfect before. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining us from today. This is Divide America. My name is George Sisca. You know when they say not to be scared until the flight attendant looks scared, or if you're on an airplane? Well, that's how it was yesterday in Providence. About when I saw roughly 30 police officers drive their vehicles from Brown University east. They stopped, guns drawn. Luckily, there was nothing. But today is Wednesday. I'm sorry, excuse me. Today's Tuesday. It's, as you can see, it's been a long weekend, a long day yesterday driving around Providence. Empathy is the theme for today. If you haven't been around, or if you haven't watched our show yet, we usually have a theme going. The reaction of people who don't know me on one subject that I briefly mentioned in a 13-second video is quite troubling. I really wanted to start today's show with that. I wanted to start today's show with, it's almost as troubling as the president's response to the Brown shooting, along with the horrific deaths of Rob and Michelle Reiner. I haven't seen my conservative friends in a while because there's no poker game right now in December. I'd love to ask them. What's going on with the president. Like, what's actually going on? I have it on YouTube right now. I have his tweet up, and it's just disgusting. I don't even want to read it because it's that bad. What is wrong with this person? And what is wrong with the people that still support him? I'm sorry. Like, I know I have friends that think that he's the bee's knees. But this right here, this is it's unhinged. And for the president of the United States to be acting this way, no. I'm going to take the tweet down. I'm sure you've seen the tweet on TikTok. Just absolutely disgusting. That's just another thing that's going on. So that's what's going on in conservative circles, right? But what else is going on in conservative circles? Is it conservative to court underage girls? I'm sure you've seen those pictures. More on that after the break, though. And does journalism need a rebrand? Pablo Torre finds out of Meadowlark Media brought up something very poignant recently, and I would like to discuss journalism also, but unfortunately we have to start the show with something that happened just 25 minutes south of here, and that's the shooting at Brown University. And if you haven't noticed, this news mantra here, it's more like Midas Touch and not like your typical CNN, MSNBC Now. I'm gonna always call it like I see it. I can't bullshit you. I really can't. Like, I'm trying to not curse, but I think that today's gonna be a vulgar episode because today's personal. I was married in Providence. My first house was in Providence. To have a gunman now somewhat on the loose, it's disturbing to me, and I'll bring up the person that's in charge on our YouTube feed. That's not Kash Patel. That looks like Kash Patel, but that's Amin El Hassan playing Kash Patel on Halloween. I'm trying to bring some humor to this because it's such a horrible day, been a horrible week, and the least I can do is bring some levity to it, and that's what the Dan Le Batard show with Stu Gatz does for people. It's a big inspiration of mine. I've been listening to them for years, and they've been making me laugh for years, even in the hardest times. So even on a dark day like today, I hope I can bring some humor to people. Um, uh, it, it's tough. It's very tough. The investigation is continuing. Cash Patel, who is in charge of, why is he in charge? I don't know. I really don't. But there's the FBI's combing, yeah, on the screen on YouTube. If you're following there, you can see the FBI kind of like puttering around. It They were puttering around yesterday after I was there. So like it kills me. It absolutely kills me that how late to the show that these people were. I remember Saturday night, I was in my kitchen talking with my wife, and I said, "Honey, I need to talk to you, not in front of the kids." And I saw that the shooting was developing, and I'm like, I might have to go out and work, blah blah blah. And then that was Saturday. Yesterday morning was Monday morning, and the FBI is puttering around frozen ground. And the first thing that this visual reminds me of is the Karen Reed trial and the lawn blower, the detectives that were just moving evidence. And there's been so many people that have been through this area. I walked this area yesterday. I walked it from, I don't know, like 8:30 in the morning till like almost 2, just going, just looking, sourcing, talking to residents, talking to police, asking for ring videos. I mentioned this in a video, and one of the commenters I thought was actually interesting. She said that she didn't believe me. What the police said this. Like, this is what they told me. Like, I was somewhat following the police there because that's what I was doing. Like, I'm trying to figure out what the hell was going, where the suspect went. So I'm going up Waterman. I talked to some eyewitness people. They said he went up Waterman. So then I started walking up Waterman, saw some police. I was like, hey, I'm not following you. I just want to let you know I'm trying to help. And then I asked them, I said, did you check this address? I'm not going to say what address it is, but it's right there on Pittman. No, it was on Waterman Street in Providence. And I said, do you have that ring? Because that ring camera has to have the photo of the face or anything. And they said that they're working with all the landlords, working with working with other law enforcement there in Providence. The problem for them was, it kills me, iCloud storage. Yeah, iCloud storage has been impeding the investigations. Now, this is where I had a commenter on TikTok say that she didn't believe me. I somewhat understand your skepticism. I do kind of believe the police that are talking to these people. I don't personally have a Ring camera, so I can't speak to that storage issue, but I can factually say that yesterday when I was in Providence, I had to up my own personal storage because I couldn't send a video to my friend of something that was going on in Providence. And it said that my iCloud storage was full and I had to pay an extra $9.99. So it's when the police officer said that to me, I was like, oh, wow, that actually kind of somewhat makes sense, and it sucks. And I think that in the future, considering how much AI is costing us as taxpayers, that maybe cloud storage shouldn't cost us as much, if anything. Like, if that's the kind of world that we're going to live in, if we're going to be such a digital world, how about cloud storage or storage just be baked into some taxes? I don't know. I'm just shooting off the hip here. Like, that's just something that's just killing me right now, is that there are so many cameras. If you do not know the Brown area, it's in the middle of the city. It's not exactly like a campus that's segregated, right? It's right in the middle of a bus. It's not exactly a bustling city, but it's a fun city. It's not New York. I'm from New York. I digress, and sometimes I lose my train of thought, so I apologize. But I was listening to the press conference last night. I wanted to go to the press conference. Chewbacca, some of you know, my dog, he was in daycare yesterday, and I had to get him before it closed. So I was reporting. I wanted to stay for the press conference. I didn't get much out of the press conference. I don't know if you've listened to the chief of police in Providence. He wasn't. He didn't really inspire greatness. No offense to you, sir. I don't know you. I would love to talk to you, but when all you said was the investigation's ongoing. The investigation's ongoing. We got nothing. Like even someone someone there asked if there were two words or words said before the shooting, and that seems to be a going theme that is not being answered, because I can't believe John DePietro, out of everybody, asked that question. I'm not a big fan of him, but I heard his voice at the press conference. I really wish I was there. I would have talked to everybody there. I don't understand why we can't be told what he said. If he said, pardon my French here, but if he said, "Screw you, mother bleepers," if he said, "Allah Akbar," if he said, "Screw you, bitch," who knows? We don't know who the original target is. We don't know. So I'm really tired of media places and politicians or anybody in power saying that definitively what happened and who did this, because no one knows for sure. Okay, like it's just that's right now absolutely. We don't even know if that new person of interest did it. How screwed up does a country have to be to have the first person of interest have two loaded weapons of the same caliber, but not be the person? I laugh because it's my defense mechanism. When sometimes I'm scared. My kids are at school right now. Many Rhode Islanders have kids at school right now that are somewhat scared. I'm lucky enough to have my kids' school directly adjacent to a police station. So if a perpetrator went that way, that would be pretty stupid. But that would be their prerogative. Now, I understand that investigations are fluid. Again, the Providence Police Chief, I apologize if I offended you, if I said something wrong, but I don't understand why we can't get more information. Like it's just that simple. Like it's a fluid investigation that when the Boston, here, let's talk about the Boston bombing real quick. Immediately after the pictures of the Tsarnaev brothers was distributed, they were found, what, like 24 hours, 48 hours? If we could have seen every picture or just pictures, more video, that we have the technology, we have people out there other than the FBI, other than the police. Like, I get it. I get that we don't want internet detectives everywhere. But at the same time, there's so many smart people out there that are not employed by our law enforcement agencies that they could probably figure things out better and quicker. They have more time too, right? They're not handing out tickets. Our local newspaper and our local authorities are worried about speeding in that's when I talk about first world problems and little town problems. Like, that's what's in our local paper. It's about speeding. All right. Now, like I said, I've had the video on loop up on YouTube. If you join us on YouTube, you can see everything I do visually there. I don't know how to do it here on TikTok yet. I'm learning. I'm producing this all by myself. I'm writing, producing, doing everything. Doing this for you because I want, and me, because I think that this is important. I think that we need more media outlets out there that say it how it is, right? I'm a New Yorker. I'm somewhat like Trump. I hate saying it. I somewhat hate saying it, but I'm an asshole. Like, there's a great Dennis Leary song. I sing it to myself all the time. But I digress. I'm talking a little bit about myself here. In the first, we're gonna take a short, tiny little break. In the next segment, I'm gonna talk about what I at the top. I put a 13-second video out asking about seizing oil, seizing tankers, and bombing boats. And the reaction to that was wrong. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the show. I'm gonna get rid of that. Uh, the FBI feed is still going, and I'm trying to find. There we go. Like I said, this is a work in progress. This is the 7th episode. I just thanked my TikTok uh, audience. I really want to thank everybody that joins us here on YouTube also as well. I can't do this without you. I want to do this for us. I think that, like I said, I think this is very important. So now, 13 seconds. I say we showed the capabilities of being able to seize an oil tanker, but we just bombed the little boats. I think that was verbatim from my video, which apparently went somewhat viral, like 35,000 views on Facebook and a few thousand here on TikTok. Nothing on YouTube, which is interesting. That's the algorithm being weird. But so let's get some misconstrued things out of the way, okay? And I'm talking directly to a lot of the tough guys that are, and the tough ladies. I will say, a lot of ladies are pro murder. It's impressive to see how people are like, well, they're drug runners, so they need to die. And then the other main comment in there was that, well, we can't catch the boats, right? They're too fast. Do you know how much slower? Like I'm being taught by everybody on the internet about how good nautically they understand things. Their overall knowledge of nautical speed and trajectory seemed to be unparalleled because they all seem to think that we can't stop the little boats and we have to bomb them. Why, and I'm talking directly to the commenters right now, why do you think so little of our American military? Why do you think we can't stop the boats? Because I sure as shit know we can. Now, I wasn't in the Navy, I wasn't in the Coast Guard, I was in the Army. Okay, and we had some pretty significant weapons in the Army, and I was in intel, and I understand our capabilities from an intel perspective. Now that was 20 years ago. I got out. 2005 is when I left the military. So, do you think that the budget of the Department of Defense over the last 20 years, that they've done anything to improve our defense? No. We just have to bomb. We just have to shoot them. It's like we're. I don't know if you can see my Star Wars poster back there, but I do feel like we're the Empire now. Like if it's where we are shooting our laser beam or our missiles at the random boats that are out there. Now they're probably got drugs on them. I mean, there's a good chance that our intelligence is correct. But what if they're wrong? Just that's the only issue. It's because our intel is not flawless, right? If our intel was flawless, then I wouldn't have PTSD. If our intel was flawless, we wouldn't have sent so many people into Iraq for the weapons of mass destruction. God, when I say the words weapon of mass destruction, it just brings me back to the goddamn president. This guy. Talk conservatism, right? I wanted to talk conservatism. He's a conservative. He's the conservative president. He's the conservative leader. I think it's conservative to feed the United States children instead of voting for taxpayer money on a bloated defense budget for Pete Hegseth, the DUI hire. I think it's conservative to educate our youth and to spend whatever it takes to help them in schools. I think it's conservative to make sure our citizens have health care. Why are these things just are considered liberal or just fantasies? Doesn't make any sense. Is it conservative to, God, the videos, the pictures, in the latest Jeffrey Epstein file drop, more and more disturbing pictures were released. I won't publish them. I won't put them up on YouTube. I won't put them up on TikTok. Why? Because they are that disturbing. And the worst part about it is there's even worse pictures that they haven't published. Ones of powerful men engaged in sexual acts with underage women. These files are supposed to come out this week. What makes me think that we're going to bomb Venezuela next this week? Distractions? I hope I'm wrong. I say this all the time. I hope I'm wrong. And two quick little backstory on I hope I'm wrong. February 25th, 2020. It's the day of the Democratic, there was a Democratic debate, and this is, if you recognize the date, February 25th, 2020, this is roughly 2 weeks before the world stopped with COVID. Those that use social media correctly, those that, like, I use it as I use it as like I was in the Army still. In the Army, I was a signals interceptor. We had to use technology to steal people's communications. Now everybody puts their communications online. It's all on social media. So I comb it. I use it for intel. Just it seems better. It seems easier. I won't put these pictures up here. I won't. I will not do it. At what point is the world going to turn on us? And this is what worries me, right? We, in 1941, went across the sea to stop Nazis, correct? Now, I am not saying Nazis are in charge of our government. However, they are exuding not abilities. I'm trying to think of the word. See, this is where Dan Le Batard used great vernacular to protect himself from libel. And that's what I'm trying to do, because I know that this son of a bitch is he just sued the BBC. So what would stop him from suing someone small like me, right? But these pictures are going to be released this week. And I'm afraid that they're going to wag the dog and try to just basically say nothing here, nothing here, nothing here. But again, I hope I'm wrong. Back to what I was saying with the hope I'm wrong. And I apologize for going off track. COVID 2020, February 25th. No one is talking about COVID. No one. But in the FAA, we're getting emails saying that we're getting flights from China that have way too many people with COVID on it. How do I know this? Because my manager accidentally sent everybody in our little group at the Providence SSC. He erroneously sent us an email. I have that email. I have that that damning evidence. And then, of course, still February 25th. This is the Democratic debate, and COVID wasn't even brought up until the second break, or even the first break. The point is, it wasn't I'm sitting at home freaking out about COVID, and no one understands, right? Because no one's talking about it, and then it's just going through our bodies and through our bodies, and then finally, a basketball player gets it, and then that's it. That's the end. Rudy Gobert, thank you for stopping the world. I went off a little bit there. I apologize. This has been a fun show. I usually have a third segment, but I really did not write too much today. I went more off the cuff. I have such I mentioned earlier with Pablo Torre and the journalism. It needs a rebrand, right? I always talk about something at the end with pop culture. I mentioned that before. If you've watched The Wire, there's a great scene. There's many great scenes, but there's a great part where they're trying to change up their heroin because it's not selling well. And what do? They change the name, right? It's just you change it from MGB to whatever. You rebrand. And that's something I'm looking into for next week's episode. I think that journalism needs a rebrand. I think that what Pablo said was like you get labeled as a truth teller, and then you accidentally, if you screw up once, then you're not a truth teller anymore, right? It's just a mistake. But that's just not the way journalism works. So I've been trying to break the mold as in general, and then to hear him say it, someone as educated as Pablo, it makes me want to research and report more. The Brown shooting has thrown a wrench into everything because I love investigating, and that I went right to the scene, and I want to do more investigating, and I'm probably going to after the show. I'm gonna go out and go do some more reporting. I'm not gonna make it to the police conference this afternoon because there really isn't much information that they're giving. It seemed like a big excuse to the saying, but it seemed like a big circle jerk yesterday. They did give out the pictures. Excuse me. That's a fine in the Dan Le Batard show. But the pictures that they sent out yesterday they didn't need a press conference. Now, I will say that the mayor of Providence, Brett Smiley, he seemed very, very authoritative. He seemed very eloquent. He seems like he's the leader that they need to have there right now. So Mayor Smiley, I doubt you're going to watch this, but even if you see a clip of it, I just want to say thank you. As a former resident of Providence, I think that you're doing a great job. I think that you're doing what you can do, but there are cameras and there are answers that we need. The first question is, and I sent this, there's a camera at Waterman and Hope. I took a video of it and sent it. I sent it to your chief of staff. I said that camera is the key. Now, if those cameras are not recording all the time, then just tell someone. Let us know, because the silence is killing people. It's really, really hurting people. There's the camera at Hope and Waterman. There's no way that that camera does not have a clear picture. I know this because if anybody has driven through Providence and they've gotten a speeding ticket, if you have your finger up your nose, you're gonna see your finger in the picture. You can see your license plate as clear as day, right? But they can't find this one guy. It's the only thing that's troubling everybody. Like, it's the one thing in the comments that I'm really agreeing with, is that there are way too many cameras in that neighborhood for us to get these really, really shitty video. Next week, journalism rebrand, hopefully. A national referendum is something that I've been researching and reporting because I have a friend here that's been asking me about this. And unfortunately, we really don't have much chances of that. We will talk about that at some point. And I hope you all have a great... I will try to post on next Tuesday before the holiday. If I don't see everybody for some reason, have a happy holiday. Thank you to everybody that has been subscribing and sharing and engaging with my content. I appreciate that more than you can imagine. So thank you very much. Have a great night. Have a good one, guys. I'll see you soon.